Okay.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another cup of self-empowerment to trust, heal, and be thyself. I'm absolutely delighted. It's a very special circle today. We're bringing two wonderful women from the UK into our Cuppa Hub today. And for those who don't know, this is Susie and this is Pippa. And Susie is an intuitive healer who channels sound, light language, and light codes to support those in need of releasing as well as aligning and activating to new frequencies. She's also created a new healing system, activating students to Aiya Star, which allows students to channel Aiya's sound frequencies to support birthing our new earth. And Pippa is a fourth-generation intuitive healer, a vibrational practitioner, and the founder of Water Memory Energy of PipEssence. Her spiritual connectivity is linked in with the many aspects. Pippa is passionate about supporting people and their energy and awareness through private one-to-one sessions, group gatherings, training, workshops, and events. Pippa is guided by her spiritual insights that connect with different aspects of nature that the water memory stores in vibrations, and these include crystals, resonant sound frequencies, flower infusions, sacred earth, site energy, and often and occasional in the cosmos, such as the solar eclipse. These layers of vibrations then connect with our own energy field, bringing many fractals from nature through to the sacred water droplets. And these can be used as an intentional tool as part of our daily self-care routine. Pippa continues to enjoy researching different types of vibrations to enjoy and connections deeply with different aspects of nature, as well as water memory energy has been consciously and lovingly created. And this is why I thought it would be really lovely to have these beautiful ladies on with us today, because they're really brewing something in their sacred containers at the moment. Their cauldrons are really cooking up something special. And I think we need to bring this to the awareness, put light on this, because this is just something which I'm really fascinated about myself. And I'm sure there's people watching this today who are equally curious about, you know, working with water, working with Aiya Star. So yeah, ladies, maybe one of you would like to say what this creation is, because I'm intrigued.
Thank you. Well, first of all, thank you for having us both on. It's really lovely to see you again, Kelly. I think just connecting first with the water. Water is becoming at the forefront of our healing on our planet at the moment. I've been channeling over recent years how Gaia, her landmass is almost taking a step back, and the frequency of water is stepping forward. So the water needs to, somehow we need to integrate with water, the flow of water into our lives, into our emotions, into our being, and allow the element of water to take precedent within us. And by chance, Pippa and I met just over a year ago, and Pippa has a whole range of water essences through PipEssence, and somehow spirit almost like brought us together like that. We had a crazy situation where we had mallets at the same event, and we went home with each other's mallet. And then spirit had us posting mallets backwards and forwards, and it's almost like they made us communicate, they made us reach out, and then that was the start of our connection, I think, through soul and spirit before we physically started to integrate. Does that sound right to you, Pip?
It certainly does. We've been divinely brought together for sure, and those Tibetan bowl sound mallets. Even the scarves that you gifted that they were wrapped in, they left little calling cards all around my house. So yeah, if you don't follow the signs, you're going to miss it. And yeah, so it's been an incredible near on 18 months ish of coming together, fusing together, and then very much flowing together. And we've created so far an essence called Star Vibrations, which brings through such incredible layers of vibrations from the temples within Egypt. And then there's this incredible layer of light language, sounds, activations brought through dear Susie, as a channel of Aiya, that the water has also memorized and stored. And
oh my goodness, of
yes,
course, yeah, that it's going to imprint the water, isn't it? It's going to stay with the memories. And it's really interesting you're saying that water is so important at the moment, and it's an element I must personally say I'm always drawn to. I always need the water element. So, you know, for you to confirm that we really need to be embodying that and working with this element, is that resonates so much with me, and I'm sure with a lot of people as well.
Yeah, I think the water, is slowly being brought to people's attention, like Wim Hof and, cold water bathing. And, so many people are out there swimming in fresh water. And even just going back to that calling of the ocean, that ocean always calls us. I can't say I know anybody that cannot be at the ocean and feel calm and relaxed and at one with themselves.
Yeah.
And this is what the energy, the frequencies of the ocean, that they're calling to us. And there's so much magic within the oceans, where we've been discovering the elementals of the land, the plant magic, the fairy kingdom, and we look out to the cosmos for the stars and the angels and more. Within the oceans, there are codes held within the oceans. There are ancient civilizations, Atlantis, Lemuria, and it's like it's being ready to be unlocked. It's like it's being ready to unlock, and it's like as above, so below.
Yes.
So, but when we say as above, so below, but so below is going belower than we think. For me, going belower is going to the ocean, the depths of the ocean, to the floor of the ocean, and in past channelings, what is in the cosmos is embedded within the sea floor. So that's what I've been connecting with. So when I channel Aiya, a star in our system, and she is here to uplift the consciousness of Gaia and humanity. She's a sister energy to humanity. And I think the connection of coming with the water is because these water droplets can be almost like spread out to more. They can reach more of the masses. Yeah. So there can be more of a connection to imbuing this star vibration into the water memory and then activating that within your being.
Wow.
I know, it's huge.
It is. I'm like, didn't quite know what to say on that one. It's like, wow, it even seems quite too minor actually as well. Just say, well, wow, No, because I feel that more, and that feeling, what I'm feeling right now is something which I can't actually put into words. And yeah, it just makes sense to me. The water element just makes so much sense to me. It's like you say, but you don't know anybody who isn't called by the ocean. I mean, I grew up by the sea, and okay, now I'm living in Germany, so I'm not at all near the sea. I'm not near the ocean. And I really feel that. As soon as I touch ground in England, it's like, okay, I got to get to the coastline. I need to be at that coastline. And, we always think the sea has to be this beautiful turquoise blue and something like that, and just gorgeous and stuff. But for me, even with the east coast of England, the southeast coast of England, we know that's not the most beautiful coloured sea at times. But, I still need to connect with that. And it's because of what you're saying, it's the codes. It's the energy which is in the water. Yeah.
Susie has so beautifully explained the potential of water and the oceans. The native Indians would call the oceans the mother of life, and so it's that capacity that there are levels that we haven't even touched upon, that is so deep within our ocean floor. If we correlate ourselves with our water content to the water content on our planet, there's very similar levels. And so as the human consciousness is revering and remembering and reconnecting with the water, there is so much more that's now coming up to be revealed. And it's exciting to see how the water element is now going to be showing us what we've long lost, forgotten.
Yeah, that's another wow, I think.
Yeah, I was just trying to think is so, from my understanding, you've created essences, which are being shared, and these essences are here to help collectively and individually raise the consciousness of the planet. Is that correct?
Yes, it is. Even last night at an event, predominantly these essences are to assist people and their own energy management.
Yes.
Yet with Queen of Peace, for example, I have been sharing those droplets with the ocean that's here so that it can be sent to different places around the world.
Wow.
So there are, there's lots of potentials to
maybe you could just share how you can work with these essences, because I'm very intrigued here.
Well, if we stay with Aiya Star vibrations, the energy is already been remembered and stored into these droplets here.
Mm-hmm.
Yet there is the wonderful deepening by setting an intention.
Yeah.
And so, for example, before our shared cuppa today, it was star vibrations that I picked up, connected in with Aiya, and I asked for her to bring through her energy for this shared cuppa this afternoon. And so then I sprayed 7 times above my head, as it was alchemized on the 7/7. And then as the droplets would pass my nose, I take the most deepest breath in, bring it into my heart, and then bring it down towards my sacral.
Okay.
Yeah. And so you're receiving on the, within the auric field, your full body biofield system, but then you're also receiving internally as well.
Of course. And then obviously the ripple effect is how you're internalizing that, how it's changing in you, how you're activating and cleansing and aligning for yourself in your own being on all levels. And that ripples out to those who are around you, be you in the supermarket queue and someone's ahead or behind of you, or whether you're interacting like we are today, or however, who you live with in your household and so forth.
Space holding for oneself, and the intention that Aiya has brought through for star vibrations is to bring through crystalline codes to allow people to align with the frequency of oneness within. So when we're incarnated, when we're born into humanity, we forget, don't we? And there's a sense of separation. And I guess for me, it's about coming back. That evolving is about coming back to that place of wholeness, of oneness. And I
always call it remembrance. It's
remembering
the of the stuff that we've forgotten, basically.
Yeah. Remembering that divine blueprint, remembering that divine power that we are. And so that is the intention of Aiya. So when we spray Aiya's star vibrations, we are connecting to the oneness within, and then that is the space holding that we hold for ourselves, and then it ripples out. But like Pippa's saying, she's sending the Queen of Peace out into the ocean. So everything is intention. If you choose to use the essences on a wider scale, then don't limit your imagination. Never limit your imagination. You can do anything. If you can think it, you can create it.
That's true. And we all tend to forget that, don't we? Yeah. So how is the alchemizing process of this essence, how does it come to life, basically?
That's Pippa's job. So we come together and we channel, and we channel, and then we create a ritual where we bring the water together and then bring the sounds and the codes and the crystal essence, what have you. We make that ritual take place, and then Pippa takes the water away and takes it to her home and holds it on an altar for however long. It's an intuitive process, isn't it, Pippa? And I'll let you explain in a moment, but I always feel it's so important to honour Pippa in this process, because I know, I don't know how, but I know that her being has such a deep connection with the water that she is, I think we said earlier on, almost like a chalice.
Yeah.
That as the water is alchemizing, her being is part of this process. Her own water molecules are supporting that. So I always really wish to honour that for Pippa, because I just think it's really important. And you can talk more now about the alchemy process on your end.
Well, thank you, Susie. That's so beautiful to hear and absorb. And the alchemy occurs depending on, it's different. So for each of the essences, they've each had their own unique story of unfolding. And if I can talk about the current alchemy that Susie and I are bringing through, which is very much the dragon energy. It's incredibly, it's another level. Yet you're talking about how do I alchemize? There's such reverence when I'm connecting with water, that there's obviously a soul aspect of me that's coming through. I know I've connected with water through many lifetimes, and so there is this whole backlog of being that is here in this now moment. And depending on what comes through in terms of guidance, whether crystals are being used, sound frequencies, light language, or a whole dialogue, which is what came through of epic proportions, I would say, when it came to the dragons coming through dear Susie, when we came together on 11/11. So again, I link in with so many different aspects. Numbers are important. The 11/11 holds so much potential, just even numerically, that when we came together in Avebury, Susie then received the guidance of where to meet.
Wow, so that was my next question. How did you know where you're going to meet, where this is going to be brewed, basically? Yeah.
So we're open to receive the guidance, the visions, and then there's other layers of receiving in terms of the different vibrations that can be included within each of the essences. But I think that's another topic. I would like to talk more about the dragons, because
yeah, please continue with the dragons. It sounds fascinating.
Well, after our first essence was complete, I was aware that there was a dragon essence to come through. And the essence was only complete and bottled, I think, for a month or 6 weeks, and I could feel these dragons pushing. And I mentioned it to Pippa, and she was like, "Oh, I just need a bit of time, I need to process what's going on here." And I was like, "Okay." And then, life takes over, and I think this was in the middle of the summer. And then from the summer onwards, I was aware that I needed to go to Avebury. But, it's a 2.5, 3-hour drive for me. And, you're busy doing normal human life stuff. And it just didn't happen. And then the 11/11 was coming forward. And I was like, I need to go to Avebury. And there was a real connection with Dragon. And when I sat down and tuned into it, it was about bringing through the heart consciousness of Dragon. And I was sitting there and I was like, well, what even is the heart consciousness of Dragon? You can, yes, the verbalizing it, we understand, but what does that mean in our reality? And it was like, I since channeled after, and it was to bring through the heart consciousness of Dragon is to almost like override our own override is the wrong word, to amplify the human heart consciousness. So we're living in times of heart desires where we're leading from the heart desire. And the dragon heart consciousness is here to magnify humans' heart's desire and heart's consciousness. And as we were bringing it into the frequencies into Avebury, it's about expanding the ley lines, because I think many, many years ago, the ley lines were a lot bigger, wider, almost so that the ley lines were touched. There was no space. So there's the heart consciousness of dragon is to expand the heart energy upon the land mass, the mass of Gaia. And then by expanding the ley lines, this is then going to reach all the sacred sites, sites that have been long forgotten. It's about reawakening these energies. It's about reawakening the codes of the land and of the water. And it's also about opening or revealing a new timeline. A new timeline to humanity. And you know, when you write this and it starts to come through, you're thinking, well, you don't, because you just write it, and then you read it back and you go, really? But I think it's, you know, sometimes we're asked to just be the vessel of the job, and then what will happen. So I think it's about whether this is happening in our timeline, you know, where we are today, whether it's going to be happening in the next 2 or 3 decades, you know, it's about initiating these energies and expanding the frequencies that we hold. So wherever you walk, you're being held in love.
And that's very much needed right now.
Yeah.
Needed for a long time as well. And yeah.
I would also love to add that personally, I've always loved dragons. I tried drawing them when I was a child. My mum has drawn many when she was alive, and so the dragon energy has been around me. And lo and behold, sort of mid-October, so yeah, a month before the activation occurred, I was receiving messages from the universe, all linking in with dragons. And literally 10 days before we came together, this was washed up on the shore here by one of the storms, and it's a natural quartz dragon gifted by the ocean.
Isn't he wonderful?
Oh my gosh.
You can see the shape.
Yes. Where are you based? Which coastline are you based on, Pippa?
I'm South Devon, yeah.
We're down Devon.
So I overlook Cornwall, so we've got
definitely. You've got the gorgeous blue waters down there. Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
So following the signs that I was receiving with the dragons, that was then also pushing me after wanting time out to, you know, get in the car and assist with this.
You were in flow, and they're like, we're not stopping this flow, we're coming through now, we're coming through with big energy. So yeah, and we're showing it through the water as well by gifting you that. That's awesome.
We were talking before, weren't we, about how time is so fast. And you know, I think for years we've been saying this, you know, to your family, to your friends, I can't believe where's last week gone. But it feels even faster at the moment. And it's almost like I just need a little bit of time to do this. And I don't think it's going to happen, because I think there's going to be such an influx of frequencies. Well, it's happened with the dragons on one level, but you know, and the cosmos, these energies are just going to be flowing. So it's almost like really riding these cosmic waves, riding the ocean, flowing with the oceans, and just enjoying the ride, you know. And
as well, it's trusting it too.
It's trusting it. And as these waves go, you know, a wave goes like this, doesn't it? So it's the ebb and flow. So you know, sometimes the downward turn is a bit feisty, but then coming up and you're reaching the divine sense of being, the joy, the delight. Yeah, time is what is time anyway? But maybe that's a whole other have a cuppa.
I think that's a whole other can of worms, that one.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
I would also love to add that this essence that's coming, Dragon Heart, you know, when Susie was so beautifully describing about the expansion and connection as one of the ley lines, you know, I see that on through all the elements. So it's going through the deepest core, it's going through the land, it's reaching, you know, the depths of our ocean, as well as connecting with, you know, the sylphs and the energy in the air.
Yeah.
And the
We
fire.
know that from rain in the circle of water anyway, so it's gonna go and do its cycle, its natural cycle anyway, which is going to be, yeah, merged with all this wonder what you're explaining to us today. Yeah. Oh, that's kind of leaves you a bit speechless, to be fair.
I think the Dragon Heart is going to be an immense water essence when that comes through. And we've been working with the energy of fern. So we've been bringing in fern into. So as we were alchemizing the water and creating the ritual in Avebury, Pippa had foraged some beautiful fern leaves and put that within the bowl and the waters, and you know the sounds and the codes were coming in. And as we were packing up, you know, we'd held space, it was beautiful, and we were packing up, and we both had a little bit of, or we put a few droplets on our palms, and we just sipped it, and it was just like this, whew, it was a rush of again of such delight, of high frequency, that maybe there's going to be as well as a spray, there's going to be a way to absorb the droplets.
Maybe like you have Dr. Bach, maybe you can like do that.
Similar, yes. Yeah. But Pip is creating her own fern oil as we speak.
Ooh, tell us a little bit more about that, Pip.
Well, it has literally come together in the last 7 days, and I've had this wonderful journey. That's my husband. I've had a connecting with the fern this past month, and realizing that they carry spores. The fern is as old as the dragons. It's one of the original ancient plants of our planet, and so they are record keepers in their own right. And I placed fern underneath the water whilst it was being held, and it left a perfect imprint of its leaves when I lifted off the frond. And I couldn't get over it. I'm like, how did that happen? Did I pick it up in a dusty area? You know, and I was working that out.
They're very delicate. They're not really weighty either, are they? So
no, but what the ferns do, which is very unique to them also, is that they carry spores, and so these spores is how they have survived. But coming back to the fern oil, when I collected 7 fronds from a very beautiful place very close to here, I collected them from different plants, and I collected them at different stages of their being. And once the spores revealed their ability, I realized that I couldn't use the older fronds. So I've used the younger ones that are not carrying the spores, and I held again another little ceremony, worked out the best oil to use as a carrier, so that any people that have a nut allergy, it's not going to affect them.
Oh yeah, of course.
Lo and behold, when I placed the young ones in with the oil and sealed it up, there was a tremendous sunset occurring out here, and I held it up to the sunset, and the leaves look like scales. Honestly, I will be revealing this photo very soon when we come close to the launch, but you know, there's just some lovely interweaving occurring. And so I found a way to So for these next 6 to 8 weeks, this oil will be coming into creation. But I found a way to place it on our fire, so it's getting a little gentle heat each day, whilst also receiving the sunlight outside. So yeah, there's more magic occurring.
Definitely. My little head can't actually process it all, if I'm completely honest. I feel like I'm downloading in the moment when this is like it's a lot to take in and to wrap your head around as well. So, you know, for those of us who may be not so scientifically there with the whole process of creating oils and the alchemizing of it all, how would you most simply explain this to those, including myself actually as well?
In terms of this oil creation, I am following my heart. I have followed some guidelines, and
so
in
it's
all honesty,
intuitive completely. You're guided completely intuitively
this
from
is an experiment. Through my research, I found that there is a preservative that will enable this oil to continue. So, you know, we're speaking as this is all unfolding.
So it's very much a process of surrendering and trusting the process. And I'm sure by following this process and trusting it and surrendering to that higher wisdom, which is obviously being channeled through both of you at the same time in unique ways, it must be on some level also doing a lot of healing work too, indirectly.
Personally, and for myself, I know that I've had some shifts since the 11/11. I don't even know where to start, but it's all been very heart related. I held a private gong for a client, and at the end of the gong, I was bringing in codes, light language into her heart space. And she went home and it was lovely. She had an amazing time. It was very healing for her, very supportive. And then I was sitting on my sofa that evening and I was like, oh, what's going on? What's happening? And I could feel this vibration and I wasn't too sure. And I was like, I need to somehow integrate this. And I couldn't. I didn't know. I think I'd had a very busy week. So my time on the sofa was just to, so again, I guess I just surrendered into it and I was drinking a glass of wine, just relaxing and enjoying Saturday night. And my mum passed away last year and she's really stepped forward as a team, as a guide for me. And, on Saturday night, it really cemented it for me. All of a sudden, it was just like, mum, 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 mum. And then she was pulsing like waves. And it was almost like, I believe she was integrating whatever codes had come in this session. She was like, just like pushing them deep into my heart consciousness. I don't know how else to explain it. And it was phenomenal. I've never had an experience like that. And, I burst into tears, not through grief, but just through joy and love and what is happening. The human self takes over. And then the following day I went to a shop I like to go to, the Royston Cave shop, and it's on ley lines. It has the Michael and the Mary line. And it was funny. I went there. I needed to get a gift for somebody, but actually I needed to go there. And I was in there for an hour and a half chatting to the owner. And when I came out of that, I felt like I'd had a massive healing. And I think the ley line in. Okay, right, it's sort of like dropping in now.
Yes, the ley lines. That's why you were guided there, because you needed to integrate it, because you needed to work with the land and you needed to embody that as well. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what happens. And it's, sometimes it happens without you even realize it's happening. So that's been the big shift for me. And it's like I don't know, my heart has opened up to a different frequency. Maybe I don't even know how to verbalize that at the moment, but there has been another shift. So I think as we're creating this, we are healing ourselves, because when we talk back to going to that place of oneness and, you know, raising energy for the collective and for the masses, it's all about space holding. And if you can hold space for yourself, then you can hold space for the collective. So I guess it's your personal journey that then interlinks and becomes that oneness of all.
That would make sense.
And I would just like to add this particular project for me personally is reconnecting and reminding me of the connections I have with the dragons, which has been eternal, and it's just so special.
Like key, which is unlocking doors previously had closed.
They're such magnificent beings and they are so capable that you know,
your emotions,
we each have a dragon. They're so incredible. And so for me and this being, it's deepening my connections with dear Merlin as well. So you know, there's lots of incredible interweaving and remembering for me. All through the heart. Yes.
Well, yeah, your whole meeting is also synchronized, you know, it's not by chance, you know, it's not a coincidence that you two have met, you know, it's not a coincidence how me and Susie met, you know, these occurrings happen, we get guided to where we're supposed to connect and with whom we're supposed to connect. And
I'd just like to say, Pippa and I met at a heart-based workshop. So it was a workshop working on heart.
No.
And actually we were working together as well, you know, and just going back to how we met, Kelly, it was lovely. We met at an event, and there was a real remembering of each other, and, you know, even like weeks or a month afterwards, I still remembered your energy, and then we connected from there. So
yes, it was lovely. It was literally like, you know, I went to that event for a different reason. You know, I went to see Carl Gray and it was amazing, but it was just before, and I walking past you and you're like, do you fancy a sound healing? And I'm like, my whole body's like, yeah. And then it was just like, somehow, as you said, that recognition. Yeah. So definitely. I know how powerful your light language and your channeling is. And that was just a taster at the time. Obviously, I've experienced it as well since then, but it's just phenomenal. And yeah, if we surrender, we do get led. Definitely.
Yeah, and if we just go through the heart, you know, drop out of the mind and go into the heart, even if it's, you know, the everyday, you know, life troubles, you know, step out of the head and go into the heart, and then ask from the heart's perspective, and you'll be surprised at the outcome. You know,
totally.
it's just bringing that into balance, isn't it? Heart mind coherence. Yeah.
Definitely. For me, you know, when I go into the Akash, it's all through the heart. You know, you have to go from your heart, the portal of your heart. Totally. Yeah. Wow. So how can people get hold of this or keep in the loop of what's going on with these wonderful, I want to say potions, but I don't know if potions is the right word, but it feels just so, magical.
I see these as personally energy friends. So they each have a way of bringing through help for us and our unfolding and assisting us in our potential and our well-being. It's occurred to me that next year on the 10th of February happens to be the Chinese New Year. And we will be entering the year of the dragon. So at the back of my mind, I thought this would be a spring launch. You know, there's a possibility that could be when Dragon Heart will be available. It depends on the fern oil. But yeah, in terms of the water memories, if people want to find out more, and the website is having a wonderful makeover as we speak. PipEssence.com is where the water treasures are, including Dear Star Vibrations.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit more about and vibrations. I'm curious here because it feels very Aiya. Star vibrations feels very Aiya from, yeah.
Well,
How did that
her
come to effect, Susie? How did it all come?
Oh, I was getting ready to host a workshop, so maybe a month or two before, um, taking students through and activating them to Aiya's energy. I was getting preparing for my workshop, and I was thinking, so it's all about layering, bringing different energies, different frequencies into holding space for a
Yes.
course. So, what oracle cards do I want? What essences would I like?
Mm-hmm.
And I was sitting there, I was like, well, why don't I have my own essence? So rather blasé, I sent Pip a message going, is this possible? Can I create an essence for Aiya Star? And quite quickly she came back with a yes. And I was like, oh, okay. I wasn't really expecting a yes. And it just happened because it just did. It's divine. So that's how the essence came to my mind. It's a tool, a spray, a being to help the students connect with Aiya and bring in that energy of oneness for herself, and also to reach out people that perhaps aren't of sound, because Aiya very much comes through as sound and light language and codes, but not everybody can receive that. So it's nice to be able to have that as a integration with the water, so people can just, or not just, but simply use the essence and bring that vibrations of and sound codes in without hearing the sound.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
That makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. To me, it makes a lot of sense as well. I suppose one could assume that maybe if someone was to use this essence, that it might actually switch on their ability to possibly channel sound. Yeah.
Yeah, why not? But it's bringing them to that place of oneness. And I believe sound to be very much of the now and the future of where we are within healing and modalities. And so many people are spontaneously bringing forth light language. I think it's happened to you, hasn't it, Kelly?
Yeah, it
All
has.
of a sudden you were
It just literally
you
comes
started to
through.
channel it.
Yeah, it comes through also in the most bizarre situations at times as well. Like sometimes I might just be driving through an area here and then boom, it's all wanting to come out of my mouth. So I'm driving my car and I'm bouncing light language thinking, okay, either I need this or the area need this or we all need this. I don't know. So I'm just going with it. And light language, I know, this is an area where you're very, it's where your mastery is, Susie. And light language is something which you don't necessarily understand on a human level in the words to start off with. It's a very much vibration and a soul recognition and understanding. So, that can be for some people. I mean, for myself, I'll be really honest, the first time it was coming through, I'm like, am I just talking gobbledygook? What is this? Is this, and then you have that conflict with yourself. Is this my ego? Is this me? What is this? And it is a very unique thing. And I do believe that if the heart is open and that the connection can be made, I do believe that.
Yeah, I think so. If it is within, yes, if you wish to be channeling light language and
From a pure
sounds,
intention of heart, it's, yeah.
pure intention of heart, yeah, I'm sure I know the essence will take you to that place. It's taking you to oneness. So yes, and the light language, like you so beautifully put it, is that soul remembering, of these codes, and quite often it's ancient beings, otherworldly beings, galactic beings that are coming forward, beings that are outside of our realm that are wanting to support us. So it's their way of stepping forward and bringing through their energies. And that's very much light language as well as that soul remembering. But, there are people out there that can translate. you know,
Yes.
and that's amazing. I know I have a few clients that I can, when I'm working with them, it's almost like I get it downloaded in the light language, and then I translate a little bit, you know. So it's, I think, when that person needs to know, because there
Definitely.
is, we do like to live on a need to know basis, don't we? And quite
We
often
do.
we don't,
We're a bit too
because
curious about
yeah,
wanting to know
we're too
everything, the ins and
curious.
sights of everything. Yeah.
Yeah. So when somebody needs to know, I believe that's when the translation comes through.
Oh, definitely. I can agree with that, because there's stuff which has come through and I've like literally gone, whether it's the exact, direct translation, but then it will come through why it's come through, and I'll understand what needed to be shifted, or why it's just come through, what the clearings happened there, or the activation. And it's to shift your energy, definitely, and to open yourself up. And yeah, I think it is to also trust that.
And realize the bigger aspect of yourself, and how much more you are connected to the human.
And to trust bypassing that mind and letting it go, because you're not trying to pick it to pieces to work out what it all means, just to say, okay, this is feeling like it feels good. It feels
Soulful.
like, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the car is the perfect place to bring through light language and practice, and to hear what's coming through.
Yeah, I'm sure the people around me just think I'm singing or something.
When I first started channeling sounds, and I've been channeling sounds, I think, for 8 or 9 years now, and it happened for me at a channeling event workshop. I started to channel sounds, and then after that, I practiced in my car, or it spontaneously came through in the car. And I think because it's a safe space, you're not worrying if the neighbours can hear you or a family member. And also, I think the autonomy of driving, it takes you out of the mind, and it takes you into that motion of flow. So yeah, I often say to my students, belt it out in the car. That's a good place to practice.
Oh, I'm obviously being guided correctly then. Yeah. Oh, is there anything else you two would like to share with us today? It's a lot of information to process, and it's very kind of out there as well, how can people bring this down into their awareness and digest basically this beautiful conversation that we're having today?
I believe a lot of seeds have been planted in this Cuppa whilst we've been together, and so some of those seeds will feel right, and some of those seeds might need some research, or take what feels right, and let those grow, and those that you're unsure about, just park them to one side until you're ready to pull them back out and see if they require your attention and energy to find out more, because there has been a lot of information and wonderfulness.
Oh yeah, I'm feeling it, definitely. I'm feeling it.
A lot of clarity, actually, just having this conversation with the three of us has made me realize a few things that's been happening. So I would actually just where I was at with those heart codes, and going to the ley line, to the cave shop, and standing in that energy. I was like, oh, okay. And also I think verbalizing, because I think we hold so much of this wisdom and knowledge within us, and then when we're sharing it, we're allowing an integration for ourselves, aren't we? We're sharing that, and although it's Pippa and I collaborating specifically with the essences, we're collaborating our hearts with all of you, with the energies that we're holding within.
Yeah, because it's for the collective. It's there's always from the highest intention for the highest good of all. It's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah,
I do feel quite drawn. I feel drawn to just bring in some light language. It's almost like just to balance
go
and
for it.
integrate, if that's
I'm
okay with
always
both of
open
you.
for that, and gracefully receiving that. I'm sure, Susie's been on before, and no backfoot, and I think it was there last August, I believe. And there's a beautiful light language translation and transmission which came through for trust. So maybe if you're thinking, okay, I'm not quite sure what to think of this, go and do that transmission as well in that episode too. Okay, thank you, Susie. We'll hand it over to you then.
Thank you. So I think, that I've been thinking there's two ways that we can do this. It may be if you've got a glass of water, you can perhaps hold that water, and with the intention that the light codes, the language are coming into that water, and then you can drink. That's a real expression of the water that you're holding. Or simply you can be guided to the energy, the water that you're holding within your being. So the water within you is expanding out and reaching the oceans, the waterways of Gaia.
That's a beautiful visualization, that one. I like that one.
Because we are one with Gaia, we are one with the collective. So maybe we'll go with that one. So if you close your eyes and take a few deep breaths and dropping into your energy, into your heart space, inviting up the frequencies of Gaia, inviting her energy, her being, her consciousness to reside within your heart space. Gaia's heart consciousness is holding your heart energy, and allowing your water, the body of water that you hold within your being, to reach out to the waters of Gaia, to the oceans, the waterways, the streams, the rivers, all the waters within her land. Nörn kutiketur nenekis nanar nenokur urnye. Surn kutiketur nenekiatar nakatikesu tarnaketur niketu surkotia. Turnakutikeser nenekur oyesia. Turn öje tur nenukur ketur. Turnie esar neketur ye. Turnaketar nyonokotekesu. Turnakotekesu ne turn ketu rana. Sarne ketu ese turn ketu kornia. Ese turnia nakatar nekesutu. Tarne eher ar nurnie. Turkete se turre kotusiata. Narne kotekiesi se turne ketu kotia. Turniketesi turnekesu tarnakutuketesi tutususu. Tarnaketesi narnaketekesura tutiesia. Tarnakutekesu tuturneketekesi tusurnietsu. Turnaketekasar nenekoturne tusurnesio. Tarate turnekesi tesarnakutia. Turata sarnia turneko surnakutia. Turatar nenekotia se sarne tuturnie surnietia. Turata si turaki tutusurye. Turanakoterania data sarna tutisia turnutusia. Turania turnakia turnutia surnoea. So I feel the sense as you breathe, you're breathing the waterways into your being. It's more of an integration to the waters, the energy of water upon Gaia. That is the connection for today. So simply breathe in and out, breathe in the element of water through your heart space. A connection has been made for you all. And work with that as you choose, as you wish, as your heart leads you. Maybe that choice is in simply upgrading the quality of water that you drink. Maybe actively swimming in the oceans in more of a mindful presence. Maybe it's allowing you to flow and embody the water so that your journey of life flows as the ocean flows, connects as the cosmos. Tarn kia sutu rn kiana kia susu. Natarn kitikusu rn yena kia. Turn kia sutu rn kiasa. Allowing the moon frequencies just to join the heart consciousness now. That moon energy, so it is opening up your intuition and your flow as the moon ebbs and flows the tides of the seas. Allow the moon, the intuition that is being connected within you, to ebb and flow the intuition of yourself and your being, finding that oneness and that peace within yourself, within your heart, within your soul. So in your own time, some nice deep breaths, bringing yourself back to your reality, your physical body, sending that breath down to your base, to your soles of your feet, honoring your being, honoring your heart. And when you're ready, coming back and opening your eyes.
Wow, that was incredible. You never cease to amaze me, these tones which come through you. It's just incredible. Incredible. Thank you so much for sharing that. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So on that note, because we're all nice and still now, I think if we'll close an end to this cuppa and thanking everybody who's taken the time to sit with us today and to, really embody the magic and let those seeds be sown in your energy fields, in your water particles. And thank you so much, Pippa. Thank you so much, Susie, for being with us today. And I'll drop your website address out as well, so people know how to reach out to you both. And I feel very peaceful now, very in flow now. So on that note, wishing everyone a beautiful afternoon, a morning or evening, depending where you are in the world, and sending you lots and lots of love from our hearts to yours. Take care and goodbye.